Welcome everyone to episode 352 of Just Joshing. I am your host, Joshua Penteloresco. I write stuff in podcast 2. Today, Ryan McFadden joins the podcast. We're near the end of my CanCon conversations. Ryan's was a hoot, simply because I came this close. I mean, I can only just an inches away of getting him to face his book, The Venusian Job, with a unicorn pen. I really tried so hard. He had a great excuse. Unfortunately for me, the best chance I had was distracted, which was his wife. We talk about that in detail in the podcast and so much more. Ryan's a good dude. Ryan's a really, really cool dude. I had a lot of fun with this conversation, and I think you guys will too. Let's talk. Writing's coming out this week. Lots of it. Right now, if you go on coffeeoversuicide.com, my first article as a freelancer is officially out. How my apocalypse prepared me for this time. How my apocalypse prepared me for this time. And I think everybody needs to read it. I really do. I believe in this piece that strongly. People have this tendency to, right now, and again, fear and anxiety and anger and worry, these are normal feelings. But this is everything I learned when I went through my last hard time. I think right now, more than anything else, this needs to be a reminder for everybody else, because hard times are going to be here for a while, regardless of how long this pandemic lasts. Just the nature of how we've done things. And right now, the important thing is to chase joy. And I talk about the hows and the whys and everything I learned. And I'm really, really happy. The link will be in the description. I hope you guys take a minute to read it. I really enjoyed it. And I feel, it's worth the time, the 5 minutes to take you to read that. All right, let's get to that conversation with Ryan, shall we?
This episode of Just Joshing is sponsored by Indie Imprint. Indie Imprint supports creators by creators. Whether you are writing a book or creating a video game, Indie Imprint works with its clients to produce, edit, and present their projects to the world. For more information, check out their website at www.indieimprint.com.
Right now is the recorder's officially on, so I always ask this. I tend to ask this question in general. This is the only real question I'm for sure to ask is, do you have anything incriminating you'd like to say? Make it good.
Okay, that's fair.
That's fair?
That's fair. Make it exciting, make it scintillating.
Well, because we're on the air, and I mean, no one wants to hear about, how you jaywalked across the street. No one cares.
Yeah.
Right? Make it good. Like, maybe you stole candy from a baby or something. At least something.
Or they want to hear how it blew up in my face spectacularly.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's totally it. Yeah.
Because no one wants to hear success stories. They want to hear how things went terribly awry.
I disagree with that, actually.
Really?
No, I think here's the thing. People don't want to hear the magical success stories. Like, I just went and did something and it magically just worked out according to the nth degree. Yeah. No one believes that, because everybody knows like we've all struggled with something, right? Whether it's maybe in my case, like I remember when I was a kid, I struggled with my handwriting back when handwriting still really mattered. Yeah. Right. I would get these things put on my pencil so that it would actually make me work on my coordination, so my writing would actually...
I had those.
Yeah.
The triangle things?
Yeah. So I'm still from that era.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't matter anymore because we live in the digital age, and digital can make everything look pretty.
Yeah.
Right? But the thing of it was, right, we all have faced challenges, we've all faced struggles. So people don't mind success stories. It's just people don't want to hear, well, listen, I just went out there and put my book out there and I make $10 million. I'm popular. You have to leave a message on the machines. It's just one of those things. But no, one of those deals about people understand struggle. Yeah. Right. But because success isn't exactly a common thing. Yeah. Right? I mean, everybody has their own definitions of what success actually is. But if you think about it, most people are used to failure. Most people understand you falling off your bicycle.
Or at least struggle.
Yeah, most people understand that stuff. Yeah. When you hit a pinnacle of success, it's like, holy shit, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, I even remember when I was, When I was older. So when I was a kid, I used to get in lots of fights. I'd fight against bullies, which means bullies would come at me worse the next time, right? And I found out quickly people loved the stories of when I lost. They didn't like the stories of when I won. Now, if it's against a bully, maybe. But I mean, I was listening, and it was just people more relate to the struggle.
Yeah.
Not necessarily failure, but struggle.
Yeah. I think that's it, right? Also, it's like, well, I just walked in there and kicked some ass. I mean,
No one likes that story. No one's like, oh, so you just beat the guy up? Yeah, I just beat him up.
I beat him up. I punched him in the face until he started crying for his mommy, right? And they're like,
no one likes that.
No. It's like,
likes
it's like, it's like, why'd you do it? Just because I could. Because I was the last action hero, right? Right?
But when you tell the story of how, like, yeah, you stood up for your friend, and hey, this is going to go down, and then you got punched. And
because the battle was not the punch. The punch was the result, and not the actual. The battle was actually standing up for your friend, which in its way is actually a success story. You went and did the right thing. Yeah. The punch doesn't really matter, actually.
This was all because you asked if I had anything incriminating.
I know, isn't it interesting?
Yeah, I don't have anything
you beat up bullies. There you go. That's your answer.
No. You misunderstood. Bullies beat me up. I fought against bullies. I never won. I won once, but then they just come back later.
Sometimes. I made friends. I made friends with mine.
Did you?
Yeah, it was weird. So in my case, I remember in kindergarten, this guy named Starry. He picked on me for 2 weeks. This is back in the days when. So literally after the end of the second week, I turned around and I decked him right in the class. I got a standing ovation from my class.
Really?
And my teacher.
Your teacher.
And my teacher too. Yeah. Well, because again, back in my day. Right, the anti-bullying concept was you learn how to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
And honestly, it is still the right way because even if you do lose the fight, you're a fight. It's no longer you're getting walked on anymore by this person. Yeah. It's a fight each and every time. Sooner or later, the bully will turn his attention to someone that's a little easier to pick on. Right. So. That's, Right.
So for me, it was I always became friends with them after.
Yeah.
Shortly after. But then eventually we'd come back I'd start getting picked on again. So I'd gain some respect from these people and, okay, you're one of us now. But then slowly it would devolve back into, and then I'd have to do it again, have to assert myself again, and I'd lose, but then it would be okay because I've asserted myself. And
it sounds like just nature. Again, it's the nature of your friendship. For me, I decked him. He became my best friend, and then throughout my career, wherever I went, someone would pick a fight with me. I'd stand up to him. So one of my best friends from high school, one of the two best friends I'm still in the holdup from high school, giant dude, man. I was like 5', 350 pounds soaking wet, and this guy's just towering 6'1", 240 pounds. Stood up to him. I didn't fight him. Thank God, he would have killed me.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I've been in those situations too.
Yeah.
Please don't do anything.
It's that situation of I can't back down. You now put me in a position where I can't back down.
Yeah.
I have to, or you're gonna walk on me. And so he respected that. We were friends, and we're still friends to this day. He's one of my favorite friends I still have in London.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
London, Ontario.
Yeah.
London town. Right.
Yeah. Way back. Now, like I told you last night, whenever I go to London, Ontario, I ask why am I here because I'm such a different person than I was then.
Yeah.
Right. Although it's funny, there's one person who could not stand me in high school, and whenever I do see her on the street when I am in London, she just gives me the same scowl she did.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I always respect. Like, you know what? You're honest. I mean, not the brightest can, but at least you know what? I know where you stand. I can respect that, right?
Yeah, but that can be refreshing sometimes.
Yeah, totally. Right. It's just like I'd rather know where I stand than be misled.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting that like now when I go there, it's I see a couple friends there, but I'm not there anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm a different person in a different place in a different time. Not to say I wouldn't go back again. Back again, but it would definitely be a very different thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You live there still, or?
Oh yeah, I live there still. Yeah, I graduated York University from the creative writing program, and I bawled my eyes out the day I realized I had to go back to London because it felt like a failure. But city's been really good to me. Just it's smaller, so my network is good there. Where if I were in Toronto, even though I sometimes wish I lived in Toronto, just because the writing community seems so much tighter. London's writing community sucks.
Well, you have Sandra. That's it.
Yeah. Well, she just moved there.
Yeah.
But even her, like I've been texting her, hey, come on out, and she has some family obligations, so she hasn't been able to. And that's someone's understandable. I get the. No, I get that, but what I mean is, it's been hard to get a group together, and I have a fledgling group that's just starting. It's about a year old, but it's been really hard to get a writing group.
You should try checking out LA Mood.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, like they have access to some people there too, and the other place obviously is Western there. That's the other obvious spot. I don't know who would go there because I am completely out of touch with the city at this point. But I mean, if I were coming in, those would be the two places I'd look at. But
yeah, it's just been tough because even the established writers, like Scott Baker's there, you know, like Kelly Armstrong used to be there. I don't know where she is now. But she would be way beyond what she wouldn't be interested in a group.
You'd be surprised. It's not. So Rob Sawyer comes out and does Writers in the House in Calgary, right? Yeah. Rob's a pretty big name, right? It's not the name value. It's the terms of like Jonas Saul has a writing group he goes to, and there's some other.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of writers do go to these groups. It's just. What happens when you get to Kelly's level of success in writing is there are less people. You don't want to be around people that are always going to cling and grow, and so it's harder to get out there with her because again, her fame works against her that way. Yeah. But assuming you can find that kind of trust. Yeah. Right. It's just like. People want to be human beings. Yeah. Like I was just looking like Fonda Lee is Fonda Lee at home. Like she's Fonda. She has her life, her kids, and they don't see her as a celebrity. They see her as like their mom, their wife, their family, or their friend, and that's something like as you get more and more successful, that's what you value more. It's not the fact because fame is easy at that point. It's not about fame anymore. It's about who's going to give a damn about me. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes complete sense. Yeah. So you never know. Like that human touch sometimes is what people need. Yeah, it wasn't that I was specifically saying Kelly. It was just London does have writers, but I've been unable to get those writers together in any form or shape. Right? So it's a community that's really splintered. And there are things going on, literary. There's a lot of literary stuff, nothing speculative. But like, look at Ottawa here. They have like all these writers that are just busting out everywhere now. Yeah, they're all getting their book deals. They're all winning the awards now, and they just kind of all came up together. They all worked hard together. Well, yeah, there's benefit to that. Like we all no one does it alone. No one. It doesn't matter who you are, right? You always have a core group of people with you, whoever that is, right? Your success doesn't mean you have your wife, you have your kids, right? I mean that's part of your mastermind. You probably have a couple really close friends, maybe more than that if you're lucky, and that's your quote unquote that's your mastermind group, right? Yeah. And you guys grow and develop together. That's just how life works. So you have a group in Ottawa, like a writing group, that's like, hey, I get to go with you, you get to go with me. Let's work together. Let's make things happen together. And a little bit of, I'm sure, I haven't seen them together. I'm sure there's a little bit of competition, which is you're getting this done. All right, I got to get mine done. Hey, I'm going to write. Why don't you come and write? Okay, yeah, I'll come and write. So they kind of end up pulling in the same direction, like motivating. There's definitely like accountability. There's definitely a little bit of that. Yeah. I would argue though it's okay. So me personally, I came to the conclusion a long time ago that it doesn't really matter there is no real competition with writers. Which is bizarre. But no, it's not that bizarre. It is, because like you think of an anthology, there's 10 spots. So why am I helping you to get it? Right? But we all do. Well, no, because it's not about those 10 spots. It's about your books are actually there's one way of looking at this. This is how I look at it. Everything I produce is a byproduct of me. Yeah. Everything. Whether it's a podcast, whether it's my books, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's me. You too, right? Your books, whatever else you're doing on site, that's you.
Yeah.
So the question then becomes, what's your actual product? The answer, I think, for everybody is on some level down. Like, it's not, the books are how people support you.
Yeah.
But what you're actually putting up on sale on some level or another is you. And in that one sense, no one can compete with you because your voice is distinct. Your ideas are distinct. Your experience.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. So it's not really a competition. And success varies with all of us because it's like I said at the metaphor I use is the rain. So the paradox of success is you can do everything right and still not succeed.
Yeah.
Consequently, if you do none of the steps, you'll never succeed.
Yeah.
That's the paradox. So rain falls where it falls.
Yeah.
So all you can really do is put your buckets out where you feel the rain is going to fall.
Yeah.
And hope to catch some water. Now, if you're really lucky, you get like you have a canal there the next day instead of like right. But you can catch drops here, catch drops there, catch like Thunder and Press has prestige. One of your goals as a writer is see if you can keep getting into bigger and better markets. Also, without.
Yeah.
And again, it's not the Thunder. That actually benefits them too because.
100%.
Right. Because if you get into bigger markets, their books get more notoriety. Their books get looked at. Because now I'm like it's like Gerald. Hey, Gerald Branson in Dog. Oh my God, he's also in Thunderin', right? And that's that because people like me are completists. We're going to try to find those books, right? So the variance is you can't control how the rain's going to fall.
Yeah.
But you can do everything you can to get your voice, your vision, your experience, whatever it is you bring to the table out there to the best of your abilities and let things stand how they stand. So when someone gets an opportunity that say, I don't, well, it wasn't my opportunity, it's their opportunity. Yeah. And they busted, like, you know what it's like, you bust your ass really hard for it, right? Yeah. They're busting their ass just as hard, why wouldn't I help them?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. The only time I've seen, I agree completely, because the only time I see when writers get truly catty is when someone isn't busting their butt and they just seem to get lucky. I guess it would be like recording artists. Someone that makes it big on American Idol. Well, there's 10,000 awesome singers in every bar across North America, right? They're never going to get noticed. So, yeah, writers, they're pretty good. When you work your way up, you do your short stories, you do your small press, you get the book deal, everyone's happy. But if you're one of the ones that just sometimes just skips through all that, just gets right place, right time, then I've seen people get a little catty.
I've seen it, but I'm not one of them. So you can't resent them for it. It's like it's not their fault. Like that's the reality. It's not their fault.
It's not.
Right? They were smart enough to say an opportunity, and they took it.
Well, well, the one I'll bring up. What the hell's her name? 50 Shades of Grey.
But she Let's for the minute. Let's ignore the quality of the writing because actually
I haven't read it, so I don't know what the quality is like.
You will laugh, and you shouldn't be laughing. That's all I'm gonna say. all right, you'll laugh. All right. But it doesn't take. What can you learn from 50 Shades? How to market a book. Because she did an incredible job. Even way before it got picked up by publishers.
Well, that's when it was fan fiction, though, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. She did a great job of marketing her book to the masses in a way that people, it resonated. It was the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And she skipped a lot of steps. And you know what? In terms of the quality of her work, it definitely leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah. But it also goes and shows you, too, on the flip side, where she worked, where a lot of authors don't work, which is marketing themselves, getting themselves out there in a way that people can see that they're out there, right? That is a part of the work a lot of authors just don't.
Well, they hate it.
They hate it.
I would say a lot of authors, they're authors because they're introspective, introverts.
And yes, but it's a necessary evil today.
It is.
Yeah, right. It's necessary evil. She was smart enough at that time to be ahead of the curve on that. Right? When you're the only distinct voice doing something, it doesn't matter how good you are. You stand out because you're different.
Yeah.
That's what she did. That's what she learned from that. Right?
Yeah.
Now, to the rest, do I think she's as good a writer as half the people I've never met in writing groups?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No.
But
the other one that I heard just because we were talking about Twilight. And I remember sitting on a lot of panels and other writers are always like, Twilight's crap. And I'm like, you would switch your sales for their sales any day for Stephanie Meyer.
Okay.
So a lot of people begrudge Stephanie Meyer for Twilight.
But
They don't begrudge J.K. Rowling or Stephen King.
Well,
but they begrudge her.
J.K. Rowling is an incredible writer, right? Or she's an incredible writer.
But going back to your analogy about Rain, you're putting your book out there. Well, Stephanie Meyer, for whatever reason, her book hit, right? And it hit big, like massive. And so I hear at these panels, and I agree with you mostly, but I'm just saying that in this particular case, that is when other writers are extremely jealous. They're not jealous of Stephen King, J.K. Rowling, but they're jealous of her.
The thing is, I'm not jealous of Meyer, like me personally, because one.
Well, I'm not jealous of her either. I love her sales.
Yeah. Well, no, I love her sales.
I'm not begrudging her for.
No, but even her books, I've read her books because they're not Harry Potter. Harry Potter is better, but there are definitely scenes in that in those books. I can understand why Little Brown picks her up. I really do. I can see, like, again, at the time, this is a lot of people no one was doing that.
Yeah.
It was just they were looking for a fad and they didn't want to do the magical school system because, let's be honest, Harry Potter did that better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? You had to come up with something truly spectacular to top that.
Yeah.
Right? There's only one wheel at a time. There's only one, Dark Tower. There's only one Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Right? That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So you find that what makes you and what can be a story only you can tell. That was the story at the time. That was only the story she could tell, right?
Yeah.
Right. Meyer's done other books since then. They haven't done anywhere near her as well, but it's okay. She's had her big moment in the sun, and it's led to other doors for her. Good for her, right?
Supernova is what she had.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it could happen to anybody at any time. I've learned it's a hard thing. Don't begrudge, even if everyone's jealous of something or anything. Don't begrudge that, because it's one of those situations. Life's not fair, but most people forget about this. If life was truly fair, most of us would probably be dead, right?
Yeah.
Most of us would probably be dead. It's good that life's not fair, just because you get opportunities that I don't get the same opportunities you get. You don't get the same opportunities I get. Right, but that works out because there are opportunities that you get that you're more equipped to deal with than I am.
Yeah.
Right, and there's opportunities that I'm more equipped to deal with than you are, and it's not the person. Just what we're exposed to, what we recognize as opportunities are very, very different. Right, and that's not a bad thing. It's just, again, our own unique experiences, our voices, and who we are as people, and that makes it different.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't begrudge anybody for anything, right? There are people in that room upstairs that have started writing up there, right? And they're probably and some of them are going to become rocket bestsellers. Some of them are going to have amazing careers. Some of them are underrated. I personally think the person I think is a little underrated is Sam Bika.
You think she's underrated?
A little bit, yeah.
She gets quite a bit of.
I know, but you don't realize how good she is.
I actually haven't read any of her works. That's why I'm not. But I'm just like, I thought she was like major publisher and all.
No. She's with publishers and all that. But here's why I feel she's underrated. Most people don't realize this. She does comics.
Oh my god! So
she does comics.
So I hate her.
Yeah.
Because it's like, here I've spent my whole life writing. Okay, my whole life, and I'm struggling. And she has, her publishing, which is like. We're talking about success better than mine. And then I look on Facebook, I'm like, what the hell's that? Is it, you drew that?
Yeah.
You freaking drew that? I can't.
Yeah, no.
God. And then it's like,
have you seen
what did you do over here?
And the Locks and Media covers?
Yeah.
She does
I know.
those.
And I'm like, you're doing design layouts too.
Yeah.
And you do this. And
that's why I said, that's why I say she's.
So I tell her, I say, I hate you.
Yeah.
And you're half my age, and I really hate you.
Yeah, but.
So I begrudge her and all her damn talent.
But that's why I say she's underrated. Most people don't realize how good she really is.
She's like multi-talented.
No.
I'm gonna see her probably later. I'm gonna tell her again.
Yeah,
how much.
No. I'm just being real with you, right? I'm being real with you. That's like I last year when I was doing the Auroras, I didn't realize she had more nominations than anybody else in there. And there's some really talented people that were nominated last year, and I looked at what everything she did. It's like your top class here. And the sad part is, I knew this too. You're not going to win any of these awards, but honestly, if the universe was just, you'd win one.
Yeah.
You'd win one because you belong in all of these categories at the top, right? So, yeah, I'm a Sam Biko fan, and that's how I became a fan of hers, because I saw all this work she was doing, and unbelievable, right?
Yeah, she is multi-talented.
Yeah, that's why I said she's underrated. And as good as she is,
I see what you mean in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah, she's underrated actually, and that's. Then you got people like Chadwick, who are just amazing storytellers, and you got people like Hayden, who are just are also an incredibly multi-talented dude, right? And you're looking at, so you get to look, and it's like, and then I get this like luxury of, I've interviewed hundreds of you at this point, and I'm like, oh, you're all talented. I'm very lucky to be here, and that's it. I mean, that's my position, because I'm the innkeeper that hears all your stories.
Yeah, you've done hundreds of these.
This is So as of this recording, 302 episodes have aired.
Oh my goodness!
I have an Aurora for one already. For the show already. Yeah. I might have another one tonight. It's possible I don't. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not right. But I might have two. I might have 2 awards for this show by the time this airs.
Double Aurora award winner, perhaps.
Perhaps, but at the very least, double Aurora award-winning finalist.
Yeah. I'm
a finalist 2 years in a row, and I have one trophy to my name already, so it's not.
Do you have the glass one or the metal one?
Glass.
I have the metal one.
So that was scary to take home, actually, because it's like, well, you're my carry-on now, because I'm certainly not putting you underneath the plane. I have no idea what the hell's going to happen underneath the plane, right? So I was really fortunate. They upgraded me to first class, and I was like,
what? You won an award and you got upgraded to first class?
Yeah, I got.
See, I hate you too.
Yeah, it gets better.
I begrudge you.
Yeah, it gets better. So I looked at them and was like, so listen, I got a problem. And I showed them the trophy. So where can I put this where this won't shake it up? Because I'm terrified of breaking it right now. And they're like, and they actually took care of it for me too on the way down.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
In first class.
I got upgraded to first class twice coming here.
What?
Yeah.
See, did you have your own seat for your award? You should have got your own seat.
I didn't have my own seat for the award.
A little seat belt around it, so it wouldn't fly out?
The airplane seat belt so WestJet sucked. I wouldn't trust them.
Okay.
Come on, dude, it's glass. Number one, I'd either crush it, or I just go thunk, and I'm like, you want to have that awkward conversation with Cliff next day? Cliff, it broke in first class. I mean, you don't want to have that conversation. In fact, I can have that.
I was upgraded to first class, and it broke. I need another one.
Yeah. That's an awkward conversation to have, right? So, no, I actually my Aurora is to the right of my computer where I work, and it's a cool little reminder that people recognize just what I can do. So I've done hundreds of these. I'm very fortunate. I get to hear everybody's stories. So
that is cool.
Yeah,
that's very, very cool.
Yeah. I feel like we've ducked your story a little bit, actually.
What's my story?
Yeah, your story, because I feel like, I definitely get this nothing special kind of things. I had nothing, right? But you've written books. You've got your own Auroras.
Yeah.
So what brought you down the path you're on?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You stumbled into it?
Well, I've been writing since I was little. I actually, where other kids were putting porn under their mattresses so their mom wouldn't see, I'd be putting my horror stories under my mattress, because my mom caught me once writing about these stories. She thought I had to be committed or something because of all the blood and violence. I'm like, so then I just did it in private and hide it between my mattress so she wouldn't see it. Because I'd show her these space battles. This is even before I could write. Space battles, and all the heads were cracked open and limbs everywhere, and I was 4. Oh, Ryan! And so I started hiding it behind underneath my beds, but my bed's my bed. But I don't know. That's the problem. I guess that's why I'm a writer. Is I don't think my story is especially exciting, so I write instead. And my novels are always about broken people. Maybe I'm broken. I don't know.
Everybody's a little broken.
Yeah.
Life kicks all our asses in some level, somehow, somewhere.
Yeah. So my novels, typically I don't even know what the themes are until I'm finished. And usually there's some aspect of me in there that I didn't even realize was in there. But I've noticed that about other writers too, especially once meeting them in person. I love meeting them in person and then reading their books. And you go, there you are.
Oh yeah.
You can see them. It's like, did you even realize that was you? You didn't even realize that was you that you wrote in there.
Sometimes you get it after the fact though. Like my I'm about to move to BC because I have 8 rules of success, and the 8th rule is to stay uncomfortable. Right, that's my.
I can see that because you have 2 circles. You've seen that on 2 circles. This is where you are, and then a big circle over here. Wait, this is where all the cool stuff happens.
So how did Tim Chismar? He was a comedian, a friend I know in the States goes. There's your comfort zone. There's where the magic happens. And and I love that. That's exactly what it is. And I decided I've learned that I've learned this at a very young age. It's the adversity that's where you find out whether you're a diamond or you dust. Mm-hmm. And in adversity, you find out who you are. And the only way to constantly grow and evolve and change is to keep putting yourself in places of adversity.
Yeah.
Right. As you learn and grow and change and evolve and become more, doing so.
So I became a novelist because I graduated university in screenwriting. And but I was really, really, really shy, and I didn't want to do any networking. I didn't want to make myself uncomfortable, right? So I'm agreeing completely. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to become a novelist because anyone can do that. Like anyone, it's easy. I'm going to become a novelist. I'll become an overnight success, and then I'll be able to write screenplays, and I won't have to have networked one bit, 0. So here I am at these conventions, and what am I doing? Networking. After spending 2 decades trying to figure out how to be a novelist. And then I've just been given an opportunity recently to become a screenwriter again, and I was like, no.
Interesting. Why not?
It's not a medium I'm interested in at all anymore, in writing for the screen. None. 0.
Wow.
I know it was
So can I ask what prompted that? Like, what's the change? Like, what happened between then and now?
So I think because I spent so long figuring out characters and what interests me about stories. So I used to think it was like fights and action and that's boring. That's a Transformers movie. And that's the kind of stuff I was writing. And if it bores me, then it's going to bore writers. Anyways, it's hard to describe, but I started writing this screenplay. And it was everything about it. It was external. And it was like, that's not what I want to be doing anymore. I don't want to be describing external. Even though I do like this one, the Venusian Job, it's a heist.
I know. I enjoyed the reading of it last night because it felt very heisty. Heisty. Yeah.
And it is. It's supposed to be like a fun heist, but I slaved over that thing. Like it's supposed to be a nice, easy read. But it was not a nice, easy.
Well, no, actually, okay. So my Cloud Diver is an old school pulp adventure disguised with all the crazy stuff I threw in there. Central story is guy finds file that everybody from zombie monsters to unicorns apart rainbows wants.
yeah.
Hence why you got the pen last night.
Right.
Yeah. And his only salvation is the girl to Gunblade. It's a very simple concept. Basically gets file, gets trouble, looks for someone to rescue him and get out of trouble. Right. It's a very simple story.
Yeah.
But. To make it an easy read, to make it a fun read, to make it engaging. I find, so I learned this partly in interviews. I find like the stuff that people think isn't necessarily literary, but just like, the fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's some of the hardest stuff to actually write.
Yeah.
Because it has to be entertaining and engaging for you. And if you can't grab yourself.
Exactly.
Right? You can't, it doesn't work.
Yeah. And it's like I said, all my novels, when I step back and look at it, it's all broken people. And like you said, we're all broken one way. Yeah. But it's all broken people that are trying to search for that one thing that they think will put them whole again. Of course, they're broken. They're never going to be whole again. But they're striving for it. And it's everyone in my novels are like that. And I didn't realize that until just a little while ago. And
interesting.
So that it's hard to convey that in screenwriting. In screenwriting too, there's budget considerations. There's so much. All right, you can only have 2 interior locations. You can only have 3 actors. So I don't like those constraints. I just found it's like that's not the story I wanted to tell.
So if a studio came up and say, hey, we want to do the Venusian job.
Done, I'll write it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. All right, so
Okay.
everything I said, just erase that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. It's way too good. It's way too good. But you're more comfortable telling your stories the way you want to tell them. And
Correct.
if someone comes to you and offers to do something with it afterwards,
Oh, yeah.
you're open to it. But but you want to tell it your way. Does that make
100%. It has to be my story, and it has to be told the way I want to tell it. So I've created, talking about London, I've created this little group called Shut Up and Write. Now, that's actually a bigger group, but in London I've started a chapter called Shut Up and Write. And all it is just, we meet once a week for an hour, hold each other accountable, and you just write. And he's in it. I met another guy, and he said, I've written 70 novels. 70 novels? What the hell? Well, they're like 30,000 words long, which isn't really a novel, but whatever.
Whatever, it's not novel.
But he puts them on Kindle Unlimited, and he just turns them out. Like, I think it's one every 3 weeks. He just puts them out.
Yeah.
And he's making a very comfortable living, he says. I don't know what that means, but he says this is all he does. He's quit his job. He's making more money now than when he worked, blah, blah, blah. Great. Well, what's your pen name? Oh, I'm not going to give you that. Well, I can't even read this stuff? No, I don't want you to read it. It's not any good. Oh. He goes, this isn't something that a publisher would ever... And he was really upfront about it. He's like, this is nothing that a publisher would ever do. And that, I can tell you right now, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do that. That's no interest in me. I'd rather be... I love my day job, and I'd rather do that any day than writing
stuff you don't like.
the stuff I do not. I've hired someone for my business. I've hired someone to write my blog posts. I won't even write my own blog posts or social media stuff. I don't want to write that. Don't want to write that.
Interesting.
Yeah, no interest in it.
I'm going to... Obviously, you're going to make up your own mind. I'm not going to stop you from that. Can I just bring a point up that maybe... This goes back to the networking point we brought up earlier, how you don't like to network.
I like to network now.
Yeah, but except on social media. You don't network there at all, right?
No.
So this is the only thing I'm going to bring across. Like, obviously, do what you want to do. I have found that my biggest successes with what I do comes from my authenticity.
Yeah.
Right? If you ever listen to a podcast.
So you're leading right into something I was say. Okay, go.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So my podcast. So that's why when you listen to podcasts, right? You'll hear waitresses coming up for orders. You'll hear I have learned that a little bit of chaos, a little bit of that authentic, like beyond your control in the episodes, it adds that layer of authenticity to it. When you make something too polished, especially with something that's supposed to be just a back and forth conversation, like minus a beer and cigarettes conversation, essentially minus the beer or the cigarettes. But I mean, but you know what I mean, right? It's like those kind of conversations. Those have merit. Those have value. Those are what people draw to. I actually get people to listen to my podcast. I love that you actually just don't keep it all in and unabashedly. No apologies for it, because it's just like, it's real. It feels realer. And it's like, yes. Social media, I find it's about being authentic. And so I'm just bringing, so what's the authenticity when you
okay, so I do have to say, when I say I hired someone to write my blog post, I have to preface that by saying that's for my business.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's like...
Okay, no, that's fair.
Everything about kitchens, because I'm a renovator, right? Okay. So I don't want to write about how to reface your kitchen or how to pick a faucet.
That's a good piece. Because obviously that...
But I'm not on social media a lot, because you're talking about that authenticity. I don't want to post... For me, social media has always been about, just give me that 30-second entertainment value, something to like, oh, that's too bad, or oh, that's cool, or whatever. And so when I post on Facebook, it's something that I go, that's interesting. I bet my friends will want to know about that. That's a cool little story. Then I'll post. But I'm not posting like I just watched this TV show. I don't post.
No, that's not you.
It's not me.
No.
So I do quite like networking now. I'd like to get back to networking, because I didn't know what networking was. Networking is like this bad word where you're trying to get something out of everyone, and it's not.
No.
Networking is really just getting to know people.
Yeah.
And then you just realize, oh, you should be talking to this person. Then you can go, like Derek here is fantastic, because he goes, Ryan, you got to talk to this person over here. And then he'll take me and introduce me to someone. It's like, oh, hi. And then this time it's like, Eileen, you got to meet so-and-so. And that's what networking is. It's not what you can get out of it, but what you can give other people. But networking, people are afraid of it.
Yes.
A lot introverts are afraid of it. That's not just
no, and honestly, it's how the world works. It's not. It's you might have a similar skill set. I might have a similar skill set, but let's say he's the final decider. He's going to pick you, not because he has anything against me. He knows you better. He knows what you can deliver better.
100%.
Right. It's not. It's personal, but it's not. It's not like he hates me. It's he knows you.
Yeah.
And that's the advantage of like networking, and it's what I do all the time. Hence this podcast.
Yeah, you'd be the key networker. That'd be your thing.
Yes.
Yeah, you like to talk to people.
Yeah, and you used to, but it's kind of evolved.
See,
yeah.
Right? And like I try and tell people, it's a skill. Like you can work on it.
Well, it's you have to be open to it. Yeah, one of the biggest things when I started the show, it was kind of by accident. And it was
by accident.
Yes.
You just dropped a recording device on the table, and then like, hey, that's genius.
No, do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
How it happened? So I've been doing written interviews for like 20 years.
Oh, okay.
I've always enjoyed interviews but they've evolved over time because as I got better at them and more comfortable with them, right? They got better. So anyway, I got this opportunity to interview Rob Sawyer for the first time ever. It was one of the few interviews I was actually super nervous going into it, right? Because it's Rob Sawyer.
That's aside from me. You're really nervous about interviewing me.
Yes.
Super nervous? Yeah. Okay,
super,
move on.
Super. Yes, exactly.
Nervous.
So we have a pretty good back and forth. I finally get a cell phone, like a smartphone. It's like, yes, this is 4 years ago. I'm finally in the 21st century. I can finally do my idea was just to record so I can transcribe these interviews. I even forget who talked. When we step out of the door, I forget who talked. He said, hey, Rob, what did you do? Because I was just talking to this guy here for his podcast. I never said anything about a podcast. Ever.
Oh.
So it's like, but then I thought about it, it's like, I could do a podcast. I don't know what I'm doing, but when has that ever stopped me? So,
Well, that's interesting. So do you owe Rob royalties for creating the podcast?
No, I don't. Thank God. No, it was more like it was one of those happy accidents, right? Because it's just one of those. I've learned this. Like, this is a very valuable lesson. Like chocolate chip cookies was an accident, right? The people who invented plutonium accidentally put chocolate chips in cookie dough, and that's how chocolate chip cookies actually initially started. It's spread because they're delicious.
Oh, okay.
Right. Wouldn't you rather be known for that than inventing plutonium? Like, isn't that? I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Right. So chocolate chip cookies was an accident, but it was an accident that was embraced. I have learned, like, most of my successes have come from very similar kind of accidents like this.
Yeah.
I have been smart enough to recognize the chocolate chip cookies from the shit and just go with it, right? And I've learned that, and
Happy accident.
embrace them.
So I have to tell you my happy accident with my writing career.
Yeah.
So, and it goes back to networking. And this is when I first started. I was always so shy to go all these things, which is funny now because people think I'm a super extrovert. But
no, you're a quiet guy, but I mean, you're like the impression I got from you, you're a quiet guy, but you're not afraid to talk. Like, it's one of those other no, not afraid to talk, but you're not. It's not necessarily your go-to. Like, you're cool. You're cool just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was tired that day. Most people think of it, but anyways, so I had I actually went to a writing seminar, a week-long writing seminar at the Banff, whatever it's called, something in Banff. I can't even remember. But anyways, Rob Sawyer was the mentor. I didn't know who he was. Who the hell's Rob Sawyer? I had to Google it because I didn't read science fiction. And so he's the mentor. I met someone named Eileen Bell. Right?
Okay.
And I didn't know her, and we hit it off great. So this was Bev Geddes and Randy McCharles were there, and Chris Morrell, and so there were a lot of people that ended up becoming my really good friends. I met them all there, and I didn't know any of these people. I never went to a convention. I was too nervous to go to any of those things. And so anyways, Eileen and I and a bunch of others, we started forming a writers group online, but there was something going on in Edmonton, and Eileen and 3 other writers previous to me formed a group. And they made their first publication. I still had no real publications to my name. And a bunch of things happened on their end, and one of the writers dropped it. And it was for this project called Women of the Apocalypse. They're like, hey, can you throw something together real fast? This thing's been picked up for publication. Do you want to throw a novella in there? Sure. So I was the one dude with the Women of the Apocalypse. It wasn't supposed to be a dude in there at all. It was supposed to be 4 women. But I got picked up on that just because I knew Eileen. And she needed someone. You're in my writing group. Why don't you come on board? So from that, we won an Aurora. Yeah. So we won an Aurora for that. Eileen won the Aurora for short fiction. So she won 2 on that. And then from that, everything just started to happen. Because now my name's out in the ionosphere and people are picking it up. So that was my lucky break. So it was knowing other writers who then said, hey, come join us. So you're talking about competitiveness, but here there was like, no, come join us.
That's why there's ultimately no competition.
Yeah,
right.
So bizarre.
Because you couldn't control your break.
Yeah.
All you did, you were just smart enough to go with it. That's it. And it's for a lot of people, that's what it is. I find that it's like the idea of competition, the way a lot of people view competition, it's silly. I mean, because those spaces are going to exist no matter what, and we live in a world today where those spaces don't exist; they're being created.
Yeah,
it's not. We don't have. We're kind of back in the Wild West today, in the sense that there's no set way of doing things right now. You can do whatever you want.
There really isn't a set way.
No, there isn't. So there's no set way. So it's a Wild West. So there might be competition for that spot at Random House, but there is no competition when you get your book out there. You can get your book out there one way or the other, right? It's only competition if the terms are, I will only do it traditionally. I will only do it this way. That's when there's competition. But if you say, I'm going to do the best book I can, no matter how I do it, when I do it, you know what? You're going to do it. It doesn't matter whether it's for Bunduran, Penguin, Cheesy. Does not matter. You'll just do it.
No, that's very, very true.
All right?
That's very true.
Yeah. So, and that's a cool world to live in, actually.
Yeah. You can get distracted by it because there's so many avenues.
Oh, no, but that's always the case, though.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, I got to do this. No, oh my God, I got to do this.
It's like, well, I mean, you made the choice at some point to network, right? For 20 years, I mean, you could have maybe gotten into it sooner.
I know.
Right, you could have maybe.
So now that's why every convention I go to, I try and get on a networking panel to tell people, like, you got to do this. And I can see them, the terror on their faces. No, it's not what you think it is. It's not pitching your book to everyone. You're pitching it to nobody.
Please don't. Actually, I said that.
Do not pitch your book. I don't even want to hear about your book. I just, hey, what do you do for a living?
What do you do for a living? You want a beer? Like that's it.
Yeah.
Do you want a beer?
That's how you network, right? Just to get to know someone. And that stuff comes out organically.
Or just doing what we're doing here, having a conversation over a recorder.
Yeah,
and
that's what I always
say, right?
say. Yeah.
Totally.
But that's what networking should be. So I try and tell everyone, networking's not what you think it is.
No, it never is.
You're not a car salesman. You're not putting your book underneath a bathroom stall to an agent. Like, never do that, right? Like,
although that oddly sounds like an awesome story to write. Quest to getting that book in front of the agent.
So in screenwriting, there was a guy that did that. He wrapped up his screenplay as a present and then put it under the bathroom stall to Robert De Niro, I think.
Oh, good Lord.
It was a big name. Yeah. He actually got contacted by the actor's agent and said, yeah, we can't read this. Don't do that anymore. But that was the end of the story. But the fact that he even contacted him was
no. Again, right place. It's like, yeah, we can't do this.
You can't put a birthday present under a bathroom stall. Those don't even go together anyways.
That's amazing.
Because, like, my mom never put my birthday.
Do you know what made put that over the top? Although I would have ruined it. Sparklers. Here. Happy birthday. Really?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, but I mean, just no. It's about just again being the authentic you, whatever that is.
Yeah,
right? I don't know how to be anything else. That kind of works in my favor for the most part, right?
Yeah. I can be a chameleon when I want to.
Chameleon. That doesn't necessarily mean you're not necessarily being authentic. I talk to everybody, right?
Okay.
So on some level, I'm kind of like a mirror because I get to hear and listen and.
So you're saying mirror, I'm saying kind of chameleon. Same thing though.
Yeah.
Like if I'm hanging out and I can talk to jocks,
Oh yeah,
I
totally.
can talk to the geeks. I'm a geek, right?
But that may not even be so much of a, like, I don't feel that's necessarily inauthentic. That just means you might have that much depth as a person that like you're comfortable.
Yeah.
You're comfortable no matter what. Like, you're comfortable enough being you that you can go anywhere, any place, anytime, and be like, I'm me. I'm cool. You can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah.
I have a conversation, episode 304. It'll be out next week. We ended up talking about Kawhi Leonard and Toronto Raptors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because we're both sports guys. I enjoyed watching Toronto's run to the playoffs, and we talked about him staying and going. And it was just like it's a sports conversation in a writing podcast.
Yeah.
That's one hand. This conversation is about networking. My last conversation was about Sparkle.
Sparkle.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I broke him. Literally, he broke down laughing when he heard that. So I mean, it was just like one of those things where it's just like, every conversation's different. And, right, so either I am being completely inauthentic, which sounds way too much like work, or I'm just comfortable enough in my own skin that I'm cool talking to anybody about anything.
Yeah.
And
so maybe you should teach networking.
I should.
Panel.
I should. They wouldn't let me do panels this year because by the time I paid, it's like, we're all booked up. We can't get you on a panel. It's like, okay.
Yeah, they pretty much made a panel so they could stick me on something, I think. Because I got nothing either.
Yeah. But no, they told me just network. Okay. I mean, that's what I was planning on doing anyway.
Typically, that's all I do when I come to these. I don't really want to go to panels, and I don't sit on panels. I like to talk to people.
I do like doing panels. I like doing them because you get to reach an audience, and I think that's actually it's a good practice for when you want to speak in front of schools, if you want to speak in front of people. Do it here in an environment where it's okay for flat on your face.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said this in my previous chat. Like I showed up late for one panel, and I opened it, and it actually was a good crowd burster. I was late because I was upstairs drinking and talking with Tracy Posey and her husband and MJ and Colette, and it's like they were literally right below me. It's like it's 9:00. Oh crap! I'm late. I gotta go to my panel. So I show up at like 9:03. It's like, guys, I'm sorry. I was just having a drink. I apologize. Everybody laughed. It's like, okay, I get this. Like, I'm really sorry. But it actually was a heck of an icebreaker for the panel, and I got to talk to some really, really cool people. One person actually started a podcast because of that. It was yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I like doing like presentations and panels for that reason. I just don't like a whole weekend filled with it. I find my magic number's 3.
Yeah.
Right? I find my magic number's 3. I prefer being top heavy. So I love it. It's the first day and then it's done.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, because then I can goof off, right?
Yeah.
That's it. I just open next year. Well, I do. One of the other things I like doing is I like making people goof off. So I do what I call Dr. Seuss off, which is I get grown-ups to read Dr. Seuss in different voices, singing, whatever.
Really?
Oh yeah. You haven't lived until you've seen Cat in the Hat and Tokyo Dance.
Oh, okay.
It's hilarious. Or Fox and Socks read in a Yoda voice. It's just amazing.
Really?
It's amazing. Right, and so every year it's the easiest panel in the world to do. It's like, who wants to play? And I actually get the hands. Anyone doesn't want to play, it's like, do you mind if you move up so I just don't pick you? I just don't want you to get. I just want to focus on the players. You are more than welcome to watch. I don't care, but do you mind? And usually there's no problem with that. So I got to watch grown-ups actually play, and it's cool because all of a sudden you just see you get to watch overnight these stony-faced, hardcore, cynical adults become children.
Really?
It's great. People always want to play. I don't care who you are. Yeah, dude. If you can make your stuff a game, no one wants to buy anything. There's not a soul alive that does not want to have fun. The trick is finding what works.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck, though.
No, I've had no problems with this.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. Next year. Next year they're not going to put me beside anybody because we were too loud. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah. What do you mean they're not going to put you beside anyone?
Because we were so loud we were disturbing the other panels beside us.
Oh, okay.
We actually got louder. It's one of those situations. So I didn't stop them. So when you see writers actually deliberately now when they hear the complaint about being loud, get louder, and you're kind of egging them on. Yeah. This one's on me. Okay.
Well, you do have fun, don't you?
Always. Well, hey, listen, man. Why do you think I gave you the unicorn pen last night?
Yeah, I couldn't use that unicorn pen though because I draw a little blaster and I am not artistic.
No. I get you, but it was just it was
I
just
was like, damn, a unicorn pen? Of all the pens you handed me, you hand me a unicorn pen?
you're lucky your wife didn't see it.
I know.
You would have been forced to try.
I know.
Yeah.
But its butt wasn't the right shape. It had a weird shaped butt. So I couldn't. We talked about we had to have those little triangles on her. And now you're handing me a unicorn.
But it's okay. But but it was one of those it was fun. It did crack you. Like you son of a bitch. Like you kind of was like you had some. What the hell?
It was a son of a bitch.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. But there's also a little bit like, okay, I have to admit, this is pretty funny. But it's sad to me. If this had been, if I was watching this, I would have laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just would have preferred me to do it to you.
Yeah, well, that's okay. But do you think it would really work with me? I think I just own it and go with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if the spotlight's on you, dance it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Own your shit. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
I really wish we had more time. You're a cool dude.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was. So why don't you plug your book and how people can find you?
All right. Well, it's the Venusian Job. It's a duology. So space opera heist. The first one's out now, and the second one will be out May 2017. It's 2017. Jeez.
It's a time machine. Time machine.
That's even 2020.
Yeah, wow.
2020. It's called Corona Burning.
How's everything going?
Awesome.
Good.
Yes.
Good. So Van Halen used to have beer bottles rolling around in theirs, so we have a waitress. So my website's ryanmcfadden.com, and then you can buy my book on Bunduran website, or obviously Amazon and a few select bookstores.
Sweet. And that was my conversation with Ryan McFadden. The Venusian Job is out now. Definitely look at it. If you've got a couple bucks to spend, definitely check out the book. It's amazing. Like I said, man, next time, man, I'm going to get you that unicorn pen, man. That's the way it's got to be. All right. So, I continue going down the freelance career, just doing what I can, guys. Every day, it's pitch, write, podcast. I'm keeping it incredibly simple because it's what I can control right now. I'm in an okay position. I don't have to worry about food or rent for the immediate future, so I can kind of ride this out for a while, and that's what I'm going to do. My sympathy to everybody involved. It definitely, this is going to be a rough time, guys. I'm not going to lie. But while we're in this time together, chase your joy. Because right now, you have all the time in the world. You might as well go with what's important. Alright, guys, that'll do it for this episode of Just Joshing. If you want to support the podcast, you can do so a number of different ways. You can subscribe to the podcast. I'm on every conceivable podcast platform you can imagine. I'm on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, as well as this one, Podomatic. Click it, like it, subscribe, share it, let people know I'm out there. You can buy one of my books. MerrillPublishing.com currently has a special on from all three of my books, The Watcher, Storm Dancer, The Wandering God. Stay tuned next episode for the Cloud Divers release date. So if you want to definitely support me during this time, you can definitely do so a number of different ways. My merchandise is jpenteloresco.redbubble.com. You can definitely do that there. Outside of that, you can check out my YouTube channel at Josh Penteloresco. My Twitter, Instagram is at jpenteloresco. I'm on LinkedIn as well. If you want to hire me, we can definitely talk. Stay inspired, guys. Just do your thing. It will work out one way or the other. All right? Take care of yourselves.
Josh.